let's learn how to create our own foil invitations using Canva and Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how to design in both programs so you can learn either way that you want to. You're going to need some foil for this, and I use StarCraft Electrofoil, which I'll link down below. You can use code Corinne to save 10%. And then you're also going to need some adhesive. I use the Siser Easyweed adhesive, which will also be linked down below. You'll also need cardstock and a design of your choice. And remember, you can always sign up for a free trial of CreativeFabrica linked down below. I'm going to show you two ways to do this invitation. So you do how you want, but we're going to start in Canva first, and you can use the little chapters if you want to skip the Canva section and head over to the Cricut Design Space section. But what I'm going to first do is I'm going to search for birthday invitations, and you can use a template or you can make your own, but for this, I want to use a template. Now, I actually have some templates saved, but I'll just show you that if you search birthday invitation, you're going to find tons of stuff to use. But I'm going to use one that I already liked. I have a starred content here. I will recommend Canva Pro because you can use so much with it. But this is the template we're going to use, and I'm going to just click use this template. Now, we're not going to do a ton here in Canva. So what I want to do is I'm going to get rid of the information that I don't want on this. I don't want it to print, and you'll see why when we go over to Design Space. So I'm just going to get rid of that by deleting it. Then you can change any of your pertinent information. So I'm going to make my birthday Friday, May 31st, 2024. And then I'll make the time be 5 p.m. And then you can make a address anywhere you want. So we'll just do like 567 Main Street, Youngville. I don't know, I'm just making something up. Youngville, Wisconsin, 45896. Who cares? Whatever. It doesn't matter, but you'll put your real information there. Now you can kind of scooch stuff around if you want to, like if you want this down a little bit lower, if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you kind of play around with it and figure out how you want it to look. It's up to you and the way you want it to be, but I'm leaving this space blank here. Now here we can kind of, again, change this to, let's say we're going to do a mermaid themed party. So mermaid outfits encouraged could be something you put up there, and then you can put like join us for a celebration. I don't know. Again, you can put whatever you want on your card. It doesn't have to be what I put. You just put what works for whatever you're doing. So I'm going to move this up a little bit, and I'm going to move this up a little bit because I want this part to be big so I have a lot of space to work with. Now, I do think I want to recenter that because it's a little off center. Whoops, and I didn't want to do that. So if you ever do something you don't want to do, use that undo button. Now, again, you can go through, change whatever you want, change up any of the designs that you want to, but I'm pretty happy with the way it is here. So once I'm happy with how it looks here on Canva, I need to download this as a PNG. So I'm going to click share, and I'm going to click download, and I want to download it as a PNG, which you can do without having Canva Pro, which is great. I'm going to click download, and I'm going to save this into a folder that I'm going to use for our video here. So I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this foil invite and save this invitation into here. So go ahead and click save. Now from here, we're going to go over to Design Space. I'm going to show you how to work with this one first, and then I'm going to show you how to design an invitation completely in Design Space for this same concept. Once you're in Design Space, click New Project, and it's going to open up your Design Space canvas. Then all you do is click Upload, and we're going to upload the PNG that we just downloaded by clicking Upload Image, choose Browse, and then find the folder that you saved it in. So I'm going to go into my YouTube folders, and then we saved this as Foil Invite, and then we're going to choose this one right here. Now it's going to show us what it's uploading. Go ahead and click Continue. Now we don't want to do anything here, no background removing, nothing like that. Go ahead and click Apply and Continue. Now we want to save it here as a flat graphic because we're going to be printing and cutting this design. Go ahead and click Continue, and you'll just click Continue again, but you can again put it into any of your folders that you want to. So like if you want to put it in your print and cut folder, go ahead and do that, and then click Upload. Now it's going to take us right on to our canvas so that we can start working with our design. Now it may load it a little bit large, which it tends to do. This is too big for an invitation. I usually don't like to go more than like 5 by 7 is usually as large as I want to go. So let's take a look at like how big it goes at a 5 by 7. I think is a decent size. You can always go smaller if you want to. It's up to you. You do what works for you. A lot of times like a 4 by 6 is also pretty popular size for an invitation. It's really up to you. But let me show you one thing. If I click make, I'm just going to go ahead and not save it right this second because I want to show you we can potentially fit 2 invitations on one page. So I'm going to click apply really quick and see if it'll let me with it this way. It's not, but if I turn this invitation sideways, which sometimes it lets you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're going to move it to the middle to do it. It just depends on how Design Space is feeling that day. But I'm going to move this invitation here and then I'm going to go ahead and move this object to this page, hit confirm, and then I want to scooch this one. I can fit 2 of the 4 by 6s onto one printable page. So we may just go 4 by 6 just to save some space. So I can do it twice for you. So we'll go ahead and go with 4 by 6 and I'll show you how to kind of fix the issue with the Design Space not wanting to fit 2 on one page. But we're going to work with this and I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so we can see this better. And this is the design that we're working with. Now I want to add some text and that text is going to be the portion of our design that we're going to use the foil on. So this is a really fun thing to do. So I'm going to just add the text and we're just going to celebrate my, let's go with my 16th birthday. So we can do whatever we want with this. You do you. But I think I'm actually going to remove the 16 really quick right now. And we're going to just figure out the font that we want to use for my name first. So I'm going to just go into my system fonts. And now when working with foil, I do recommend using a bit of a thicker font. It's going to look nicer. It's going to really show up really well. It's just going to give it a bit more shine, a lot more space to shine. So I would recommend that. Now I have having a little bit of trouble with the fonts. So it's been a little bit slow. Now I'm going to scroll through, find the font that I want. I'll let you know which font I choose in the end. And then I'm going to show you how to set up all the other pieces and parts so that we can get this to work perfectly and you can have gorgeous foil invitations. I've chosen black sample, which I'll link down below for you. But what I want to do first is I'm going to go to combine and I'm going to weld my design. So I want to weld all my letters and then I'm going to size it down a little bit. I need it to fit on my invitation, of course, and you can kind of play with it and decide how you want it to be. But I think I want to get rid of the S and the apostrophe. And since I welded it and I can't undo it, what I can do is just simply slice it off. I just don't think it looks right. I can change my wording so that that doesn't need to be there. So first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and slice off the S and I can just simply do that really quick. And then I can slice off the little apostrophe real easy as well. I'm just grabbing a square and then I'm just kind of hovering it over the pieces I want to get rid of. And then I can play with this a little bit more. So yeah, I didn't love the apostrophe S. So then I'm going to do, let's do Corinne Turns. And then you can take, oops, I need the N in there, Corinne Turns. And you can really play around with this, make your fonts different sizes, kind of put them wherever. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to combine this and weld it. And then I don't want to be 40. So I'm going to go ahead and do 16. And I can just size that down as well. And then I just kind of figure out like how I want it all laid out on there. But I think that looks pretty good. I think that's a cute little invite. Now, once I have my text, I need to actually make this text so that it's completely separate from our card. We're not printing this. We're cutting this on the Siser Easyweed adhesive, or you could also use the StarCraft adhesive. I'll link both below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my words. So Corinne Turns 16, and I want to go down to combine, and I can either unite them. I can also just attach them. You do whatever way works best for you, but I'm going to unite them. And then I need to make sure that I have everything sized the way I want it to be. Then what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip this horizontally because it's a HTV, so it needs to be mirrored. And I'm going to scoot this over to the side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, but I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees first. Then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. I also want to duplicate this part, the Corinne turns 16. That way I have one for each of my cards because I'm going to print 2 on one page. Now, I do want to make sure that I save my design. So I'm going to call this one Canva Mermaid. That way we know that we made this one in Canva and I spelled mermaid wrong. And then we can just go ahead and click save. Now, from here, all we have to do is click the make button. And it never fails that Design Space just doesn't understand that if we turn it sideways, we can fit 2. So I'm going to go ahead and have to manually turn these. So remember, we have to move it over and then turn it. And that was not very straight. It doesn't have to be like perfectly straight. It'll cut it no matter what. Get it up in this corner. And then I'm going to take this one. I'm going to right click on it, move object, and send it to the other page. Click confirm, slide this over, turn this sideways again. A little more sideways. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to just straighten it out. It doesn't have to be fully straight. It doesn't really matter. And then we have our cards. Now that's one thing that's really annoying about Design Space. It just doesn't listen. But I'm going to show you a trick around it that'll actually work really well too. But I also want to show you these are the HTV portions that we're going to cut. They're pretty small, but they'll work really well. But let me show you a quick trick to this. So we know we have these 2 cards and they'll both fit just fine onto our Design Space. I'm going to zoom out so that we have more room. All I'm going to do is take both of these cards. I'm going to put them sideways together and I'm going to leave a gap. There's going to be a gap here between the 2. Select both of them. And if you really want them to be, you can center them so that they're straight. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be. And then I'm going to attach them. Now, Design Space should, with any luck, keep it the way we have it. So there's definitely some options so that Design Space knows that it can fit these both on the same page. And then we have our little HTV pieces. Now this just cuts on the regular everyday iron-on setting. And then I'm going to print this on cardstock. And this will cut on the medium cardstock setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click continue. And I want to send this to my printer. So click the big green send to printer button. Now, what we need to do is we want to make sure that this is going to print out really nice. So the first thing is I check I have the right printer selected. I'm going to leave bleed on because our background is like a light pink. So I want to make sure all that color is pushed out a little further out to the sides, just in case the Cricut cuts it a little bit off. And then I want to use the system dialog, which is this little button right here. Now, when I click print, it's not going to print it. That system dialog box is going to come up, which will allow us to choose the right cut set or the right print settings, I should say. Now, I want to go to preferences, but first make sure you have your right printer selected. I use an EcoTank 2720. I'll list the next version they have because they no longer make my exact one. Then I want to go to preferences. Now, under preferences, I want you to do a few changes. I'm going to change my paper type. I found that the presentation paper, the premium presentation paper matte, works great. Change your quality from standard to high and make sure you have color selected. Then we're going to do one more setting, which is under more options, and that's to turn off our high speed print. Now, if you're using like a workforce printer, some other printers, they may say bidirectional printing. That's the same thing. Now, also, if you don't have all these preferences like I do, likely your install for your drivers on your printer didn't go all the way through. So just go to your printer manufacturer website and search for the drivers for your printer. Now, once we've got all these settings, all we have to do is click OK and click print. Then I'm going to show you how to cut everything on your machine and how to assemble these for our Canva cards. And then I'll put a little timestamp down here. And there are also chapters that'll send you to the Cricut design one as well. Now we're going to be using CreativeFabrica to grab some adorable mermaids. And what I love about CreativeFabrica is that everything on the site is included, plus you get a commercial use license. So if you want to sign up, be sure to click the link down below. You can sign up right now for $4.99, $3.99 a month. It depends on if they're running the promotion. But I also have a free trial if you want to give it a shot, see what you think. But all we have to do to get these designs is just click the green download button, and I'm going to save these into the folder for our design that we're using. So in our little foil invite folder, and I just usually will get rid of the numbers at the end of the file. I don't need that information. Then all you simply do is click save. Now it is going to come in a zipped folder, meaning that it is compressed. What you need to do is to extract everything in your zipped folder. So we're just going to click extract all and then click extract. And that's going to give us a folder where we can access all of our files super easy. And we'll also be able to see a preview of all of the images within the file. Now, once those have all popped up, we're going to head back over to Design Space and upload a couple so that we can make our invitation. Over in Design Space, click Upload Image, and then rather than browsing, I like to drag and drop. So I bring up my folder and I choose whatever image I want to bring in. I want to do this mermaid, and then I want to do another one, and then we'll do some of the clip art pieces, and we're going to kind of make them a little bit similar to the other invitation so that you can get an idea on how to do this. Once she's uploaded, simply click continue, and just like when we uploaded the other design, which was our card, we don't have to do anything here. She doesn't have any background. We're going to click apply and continue. We want to save her as that flat graphic, which is for print and cut, and click continue. Now, again, it is going to ask us to put it in a folder, whatever. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to click upload. Now, this is going to take a second because these images are high quality, and it's going to bring it directly into my Design Space canvas. Now, I need to upload a few more images, so I'm going to go ahead and do that in quick succession because this does take a little bit since these images are pretty large. Once all your designs are in Design Space, they're obviously huge. So what I want you to do is, the first thing is to click Select All, which is up here at the very top of your screen. Then I'm just going to go ahead and change the width of all my designs just to 2 inches, just so I can see them better, so they're smaller, they're just easier to work with. And then I'm just going to kind of move them over to the side, and we'll resize them. Don't worry, they're not going to stay this small probably. We are going to resize, but you can see them a lot better. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to open up a square to use as the card itself. So I'm going to go to shapes and I want to use a square. You can use a rectangle too, it's up to you. And I want to change the size. Now we did a 4x5 card for the other one, so we'll do the same size for this. Or maybe it was 4x6. I'm sorry, it was 4x6, not 4x5. And then I'm going to just change the background. Now I want to do a similar look. So I want to use like a light pink, which you see we have this, but that's like not the light pink I want. So what I want to do is go to advanced, and you can choose your colors from here. So you can really play with that color a little bit more down in this little advanced area. And you can really just kind of make it however you want. I think that's pretty close to the same color. It doesn't have to be exact. Now I am going to put my little mermaids on, but you see that they go behind our square. So what you want to do is right click on your card and you want to send this to the back, and that pulls it all the way under all of our elements. So now from here we can use our elements and resize them, make them however big we want. We can even like turn them if we want the mermaid to sit a different direction. You do you, what's, whatever you want to do is the right answer. Now in the other card, the mermaids are like half on, half off, and we should be able to do that with any luck. So what I'm going to do first is I want to duplicate my card, and I want to select one mermaid and the original card, and I want to slice, and we'll see if it works. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. If it's not going to work, it's fine. We're just going to move on from it, but it looks like it worked really well. So all we have to do is delete that section of our mermaid. And now you'll see that we have all these different parts. So this little mermaid now can sit over here on this card. And what you can do is select the card and the mermaid, and you want to align them to the right, and she'll sit right on the edge. Now we can do the same thing with this mermaid here if we want to like line her up where we want her to sit. I had her pretty much where she was going to be anyways, and I can select both of those items and again slice them. It's a great option if you want things to hang off the side a little bit, and we're probably going to have to play with the slice button a few times in order to really truly make what we want. So I'm going to keep this piece of card together. Now I can lay her out wherever I want her to go, and I'm going to put her over here, and then I just want to select her and the card, and I'm going to align them left this time. So you'll see you have a line left. Now, like I said, I'm going to hang on to this for just a few minutes in case we want to like slice out anything else. Now we have all these other fun elements that we can use. So I've got these little pearls, but again, see how that card's in front? Just go ahead, right click on it and send that to the back. And now we can put our little pearls down. We can put our coral out. Well, actually, I kind of like that behind her. That's cute. Do that behind her, and we want that kind of towards the bottom. And then I have this fun shell, which I think I'm going to put up here. Now, once we have all this kind of laid out where we want it, you can add anything that you want to it. Do you figure out what you want it to look like? I think I'm happy with how that looks, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Now, before I do anything else, just because it's just easier for me, I'm gonna go ahead and flatten this, but I think I've changed my mind as to where these pearls are laying. I think I want those there, and then I think I want this a little further over. Now we can always make this bigger if we want it to, or smaller. As long as it's along the side here, we're good. I think I'm pretty happy with that, so I think that looks good, but I'm again gonna just select and align left just so I make sure everything lines up. Now again, once you're happy with where everything is sitting, go ahead and select the entire design, and I want you to use the flatten option. That's going to just tell Design Space that that is all one single piece. We don't want all the elements cut out individually. Now this is where we're going to be adding our text. Now we need to add that text in, and that's really easy to do. Just go ahead, open up your text file, and I'm just make it say the same thing that the other one says. Join us for a celebration. That's our top line. And then you can change the text just like you would in any other design that you're making, and choose a font that you like. I'm gonna try to make sure the fonts are similar-ish, again, just so we can kind of get a look at like what they would look like. I don't know what font they actually used for this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find one that looks similar. And I just realized that the other one, it's all capitals, so let me change that. So that way it can look a little more normal and even. So let me find a font that looks similar, and then we'll go ahead and keep adding to our card. This one's not exact, but it's close enough. Now I want to size it down so that it fits into my card, which it's going to need to be sized down quite a bit. Now the sizing's been a little weird. See how it's like moving, and it's just very strange. But I think I am going to change that font because I really don't think I like it. It's a little bit weird. So let me go ahead and keep looking for a better font, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, this one's better. This is just Arial. It's good enough. It's close enough. I'm fine with it. So I'm going to go ahead and size that down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so we can see better. So this is the font we're going to go with. And this one I'm going to make like a, I don't know, like kind of a bluish color, I think. Honestly, like that might work. Now you're going to notice that currently it shows with a black outline around it. That's going to change in just a minute, but I'm going to leave it as is for now. Now I'm going to use Control C and Control V to copy and paste so that I don't have to make a whole new text box. I find it just works a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to mermaid outfits encouraged. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this relatively similar to the one that we already have created in Canva, just to show you kind of what we want to do with this. Now I'm going to move this up a little bit. And I'm going to move this up a little bit. I don't mind that they're going to sit over the shells and stuff. That looks fine. Now, I want to add another line of text because we need to put in the date and the time and all that. So I'm going to use Control C, Control V again. And I'm going to put the dates and the times. So this is going to be Friday, May 31st at 5 p.m., which is on a separate line. And then we have the address, 567 Main Street, Youngville, Wisconsin, 45896. Again, just made that up. That is not a real place. I need to fix the A in Main Street. I see that I have that. And then all I have to do, again, is just size this to where I want it to be. Now, it does cover up our little mermaid's face. So if that's bothering you and you don't like where it's sitting, just unflatten your card and you can arrange your items again. You can move them up a little bit. So like if I'd rather have her be like over here a little bit more, I can do that. It's fine. And then again, I just want to use that align option and align her right just so she sits well. You don't have to re-flatten this right now because we're going to go ahead and play with the fonts a little bit more, kind of move things around because I don't think I like how I put those. So I'm going to put those down a little bit more, leave a little more space at the top. I think that looks pretty good. I don't mind the color. So once I'm happy with my font, and you do what you want to do, it's up to you. Select the entire design, and then I want you to choose flatten again. And now you'll see that our words don't have that black outline. Now they may be a little difficult to read. And if that is in fact the case, I'm going to show you a quick little trick. What we'll do is we're going to unflatten this again. I'm going to select the wording right here, and I'm going to add a little offset to it, and I don't want a big offset. I'm just going to do a really, really small offset. Does not need to be anything crazy. Now, because this is pretty small, you would have to use really, really small numbers to make a small offset, but you can always make it bigger and then do the offset. But I just want like a little teeny tiny one, just enough to add a little bit of color around it. And for this one, I'm going to just add a little bit of this pink around it. And now if I zoom in on it, you'll see maybe if it will let you. You can't really see it because it's so small, but it makes those letters stand out just a little bit more. And you can do that to anything that you want. It's just a little quick trick that you can do. Truly up to you if you want to use it or if you don't. I think I'm fine without it. I think it looks fine. So I'm going to go ahead and select everything again, and I want to flatten it. And again, that just tells Design Space this is all one piece. Now let's go ahead and add the text for the part we're going to do the foil. So again, I'm going to do Corinne, and then I did it in different lines. So we'll go ahead and do that again. And remember that we used that one script font. I'll have to find it. I think it was Simple Black that we used. So I'm going to look for Simple. It wasn't what it was called. I really don't remember what I called it, but we'll look for it. I'm sure it was something Black Sample. It was Black Sample. So we're going to use Black Sample. And again, I'm going to size it so that it fits to my card. Again, do you figure out where you want it to be. It's up to you. And then again, copy and paste to just use the same text box. And then I'm going to do turns. And again, I'm just going to kind of space it where I want it. And then I'm going to put another text box and do the 16. Again, you can size this, put it however you want. Do you? It's up to you. So once I'm happy with the gray parts, I need to grab all of those, and I'm going to go down to Combine and use Unite. This part's all very similar to how we did it in the other one. Now, keeping in mind, again, that this is going to be cut on HTV, so I want to flip it and flip it horizontal so that it's mirrored. Then all I need to simply do is I'm going to grab my original card, rotate that bad boy 90 degrees, and then I want to duplicate the card. So I'm going to go ahead and click duplicate, and it should make us 2. And then all I need to do is, again, line them up a little bit so that we can cut them all on the same piece. I'm just going to drag this down a smidge. Again, I'm just going to grab, I don't want to grab that part. I only want to grab the 2 cards, not the HTV part. I want to align them, and I'm just going to align them horizontally. Then all I simply do is attach them, and that way they'll cut together. And then again, I can just duplicate this so that I have the 2 pieces so that we can make 2 of them. That way you guys get a good idea. Now all I have to do is save this. So I'm going to save this one as Invite Mermaid DS so that I know I made this one in Design Space, and click Save. Now you can see it's a lot of steps when you use Design Space to create this rather than using Canva when you use an already created template. So much faster, but this will still work. Then all I simply do is click Make again, and you'll see that it's going to bring up our design in order to print it out and to cut it out. Now you see we have our 2 cards, and then again, the same thing with the 2 cutouts. Now, again, it's all the same. You're not going to do anything different here. You're going to click Continue. You're going to go ahead and set up this to send to your printer. So again, send to printer. You want to make sure that printer's selected, the bleed is on, and using system dialog. So I'm going to use that. Click Print and bring up those fun little settings that we're going to use. And then all I have to do is print this out. It's really easy, very, very simple. The steps are all the same when it comes to print and cut, regardless of if you made the design in Design Space or if you made it in Canva. Once that dialog box comes up, go to Preferences, make sure that paper type or the size is right, change your paper type to Premium Presentation Paper Matte, from Standard to High, Color Selected, more options, turn off that high-speed print, click OK, and click print. Now again, we're going to cut these with the Cricut. It's going to be super easy, really fun, and just a really cool way that you can jazz up your invitations or really any kind of a paper craft. I have our 2 pages of invites, so the ones we made on Canva and the ones we made on Cricut. We're going to cut the Canva ones first. So I'm going to load them on to my mat, and you want to make sure that you load them the same way they're facing in your Cricut. I tell you this every print and cut tutorial, but I fail to say it and somebody will be like, it didn't work. So I just want to make sure to always remind you. I'm cutting this on the medium cardstock setting, so it should cut just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these invitations out, and then we'll cut the adhesive for them, and then we'll do the same with the ones from Cricut. Now once it's done cutting this, I'm gonna unload this, take this off of the mat, and then what I need to do is change my cut settings. Since this was cut on medium cardstock, I need to go over to the computer and change this to the everyday iron-on setting. But before I do that, let me show you what your design, like your iron-on, looks like. So I've got this scrap piece. This should be plenty to cut both of our designs. I'm actually going to trim this off because I just want to use this bigger section, and you can see it's kind of a frosted color, and it has a shiny side and a matte side. The matte side is the one that comes up because that is the adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on to my mat. Just gonna gently lay it down, get that kind of even, and then all I'm going to do is cut this on the everyday iron-on setting. Once it's done, we can go ahead and unload it. Now this one is pretty difficult to see when it comes to weeding, but one thing that really helps is to have nice bright lighting in your room. And I can see it if I kind of turn it a little bit sideways. I'm gonna have to get another scrap piece to use for my next one because these go all the way over to here, but that's fine. I am gonna trim this off just so I can save this piece because I do sometimes put little foil designs in like small spots. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these over to the side. We're gonna cut out the ones from the Cricut, which is done the same way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get those cut out, not explain anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and put both of them together. Do is to weed the adhesive for our foil. Now I have these separated because they're different sizes. So we'll start with one, and we want to just make sure we keep everything really well together. That way we don't mess up. Because like I said, these are different sizes. They're not exact replicas of each other. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. So like I said, this is hard to see. So you're gonna want some bright light in your room. You're gonna want to take your time, but once you get started, it'll be a lot easier to kind of see where everything is and where everything goes. Because you can see here, that's the C for my name. And if I hold this just a little sideways, I can see the edge of the cut to get it out of the C. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all weeded out and then show you how to apply this to your invitation. Well, once we have everything weeded, we can line them up onto our cards. So you want to cut them apart, and I have a little futz on one of them, so I'm going to pull that off. It's just a little piece of the mat that I was making earlier. So I'm going to get that off. And then, again, this is clear, so it is hard to see, but you just line it up onto your card wherever you want it to go. You get that pressed down, and then this is sticky, so it'll stay stuck to your card. So I'm gonna do the same with this one, and then we'll do the exact same thing to the ones that we made with Canva. And I'm just gonna scoot that over a little bit, get that pushed down. And these are gonna be pressed with our heat press. So you can absolutely press cardstock in a heat press. And I'm just gonna go ahead, I wanna trim the bottom off of this just a little bit, just so there's a little less sticking to our invitations, just in case, just to be safe. But you can just see all I'm doing is lining this up, and you can see it pretty well. I don't know if you guys can see it, but in real life you can see the adhesive pretty well over the cardstock, and then when you press it down you can still see it, so you can really easily tell if it's lined up where you want it to be. If you're unhappy, you can always peel it back off and reset. Do what you need to do to make it perfect the way you want it to be. Just get that pressed down. Now I'm gonna get my heat press ready. I'm gonna show you guys the time and temp for these in just a second. Because our cards are all really small, we can press them at the same time. So I'm just gonna line them up. I have this set to a medium pressure, and I'm going to press these for about 15 seconds at 305 degrees. Then what we'll do is we'll put the foil on, and I'll show you that step next. But you want to just make sure that you're using a good firm pressure. Once that's done, go ahead and lift up. And then this is a warm peel product. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off. So this is like the carrier sheet for the adhesive. So I'm just going to peel that off. Now you do want to be a little bit careful just in case, but I think everything looks like it went just fine. Now what I'm going to do is cut some of the foil. Now I did get a little dog hair stuck under one, which is a bummer, but that's okay. I'm not really super worried about it. But you can just see I'm just peeling off that backing. Now once you've peeled that off, it is really hard to see where your words are, but in general you should know where they are. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of the foil off and show you how to lay that down. What I have is our foil, and I'm just going to cut this into sections so that we can cover our design. Now you don't need to use a lot of foil, which is nice with this, but I am going to make sure to cut them a little bit big. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one right here, and then I'm just going to cut this piece and use this piece to cover this one, and you can see that I'm covering the entire section where my words are, and that's super important. So again, I'm just going to cut a little piece off of this section right here. And again, I want to make sure that all my words are covered. And it doesn't have to be straight or even or anything like that when you cut foil. You just cut it so that it covers your entire design. So then I'm going to lay this one down. Now this is pressed at anywhere between like 285 to 320 for 8 to 10 seconds with firm pressure. So I'm going to do the 305 for the 15 seconds. That's usually what works best for me. Once this is done, go ahead and lift this up, and you want to make sure that you don't peel your foil. We need to allow these to cool. So what I'm going to do is move them over to the table, and I'll give you guys the overhead shot so that when we peel them, you can see what they all look like. We've let these fully cool. I just let them sit for however long. It doesn't matter as long as they're cool to the touch. Then what you want to do is peel off your foil, and you just do it in like one fell swoop. Now we have this beautiful card. So let me go ahead and peel the rest of them. Look at how gorgeous these came out. So pretty. This one's got a little piece of foil that's stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and just rub it off, and that comes off no problem. And then I'm just going to peel these ones off. Look how pretty they are. They're gorgeous. Let me get you guys a better view. Here's a nice close-up of our finished foil invites. These are the ones from Canva, and I think they came out so beautiful. This is something that's really, really fun to do, and as you saw, really easy. Now keep in mind you don't need Canva Pro, but I'll link it down below for you. Now these are the ones that we made in Design Space using some decorations from CreativeFabrica. And remember, you can sign up for CreativeFabrica's free trial down below as well. I absolutely love CreativeFabrica. I think these came out so cool, and there's so many ways that you can use them. The Starcraft Electrofoil comes in so many colors that you're going to be able to make foil invitations for any occasion that you want to add that little extra bit of sparkle. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss any of our crafty content. And as always, happy crafting!